To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and you're listening to a podcast that believes in dreams, that places trust in the magic of imagination, that is always the first star to the right, and where the light in the window is always on. Join as we discuss the views from Walt's apartment.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Walt's Apartment Presents. We are so honored to have Kel with us from Adventure Island Theme Park Mom Life on TikTok. Kel, how are you? Good to see you again.
Good. Doing
Good.
great.
It's been a couple months since we had you on. Last time you were on, I was going to try to come down for the Tiana's Bayou Adventure thing. Did not happen. Literally, I got up, got dressed, was ready, sitting in my car, hit that 6:50, 9:59. Everything sold out, done. So just went back to bed.
Yeah, that was kind of a mess, the virtual queue thing. I mean, I kind of wish they had rolled it out the way they had rolled out Galaxy's Edge, where you could like get a pre-designated time slot, because I didn't like a lot of things about the way that they did that. And one of the things I kind of liked the least about the way that they did that was that they didn't regulate how many times people could do the pass holder preview for Tiana's. So I saw people I'm friends with, and it's fine. Disney didn't regulate it, so it's fine if they want to do that. But I saw people who were able to do it every single day, and then people who were never able to get in. And I do think that Disney should have put like a cap on it, and that's how it would have worked if they had used like a reservation system. Then everybody could have like booked a time slot in advance, had a day they were going to go. This like virtual queue situation ended up where like some people went, like 10, 15 times. And couldn't even go on once. So I didn't love the way that Disney did the previews for this, but it was nice, I guess, that they did anything at all. And it was cool if you were lucky enough to get in. I actually did get in. I actually got in twice.
Right.
I went with my son, just him and I, and then once with my husband. But I would have been fine to forego the turn with my husband if I'd already gone with my kid, if Disney had done it differently, but this is the way that they did it.
So, anyway, welcome to the show, Adventure Isle. All that stuff's going. We got right into the stuff. That's great. I love that. I love talking to you because you just have you're brutal, and I love it. So I have a question for you. Get your opinion. Do you think Disney can regulate who gets those things, like the creators that got to go, like you said, 10 times, or people that got to go 10 times? Do you think they allow that so they can get their product out there more?
No, because the creators I'm talking about they're good creators. They have quite a following, but I'm not talking about Fresh Baked or like the massive pages. I think, and I guess a lot of people could say that could have been true for me, I guess, because as a creator, I did go the first day. It happened to be the day I was there for my son's birthday. We were lucky enough. We didn't get a 7 a.m. queue, but we got a noon queue, and we did eventually make it on. I don't think it has anything to do with who they are or what the following is, but I do that there is some sort of like inside trick that some people must know that they just don't share. Because if you're getting a 7 a.m. virtual queue every single day, 10 days in a row, and everybody else is selling out and we're all doing the same things we're told to do, right? And I've tried all the ways, and I'm pretty good at virtual queues. You go in right at 6:59 and you scroll down right away, or you hit the refresh button, you make sure your party's confirmed. Like, I'm pretty good at doing virtual queues, but there's got to be something else that people are doing. My only other guess, too, is that one thing I think that Disney does not tell people, and I will 100% stand on this whether or not it's true. I think that geographically, if you are closer to Disney, you have a better chance of a queue. That's what I think it is. So the people that I know that were creators that were going every single day live in Anaheim. And I think they were getting onto property before 7 a.m. or were close enough to property before 7 a.m. I have this theory that like if you're in the Disney hotels, you get a leg up on the virtual queues. But I don't think it has anything to do with like if you're a creator or them wanting to get the content out there. Honestly, I think Disney gets annoyed at how fast the content gets out there sometimes, because sometimes the creators beat them to the content and they want to put it out. I'm out here being like, oh, look at this cool new Tiana animatronic or whatever, and Disney's like, wait, we were gonna share that, and like already, I kind of feel like I did that to Universal the other day. Universal Anyway, total sidebar, but I'll tell you about something awesome at Grinchmas later that I kind of beat Universal to the punch at when it comes to like content creation that they probably were like going to do themselves, and I first.
Hang on one second. I gotta snooze something on my computer here. Okay, there we go. But okay, yeah, I that does make sense because I live up in Stockton, so I mean I didn't think I had a chance. I'm like I'm gonna give it a try and see. I was ready. I was excited. I'm kind of glad because now that I saw that day, it became like a complete shit show. Like by the end of the day, like if I would have driven 5.5 hours to be in group 30 and be told I didn't get to go, it would have been fun.
Yeah, and it was breaking so much. I mean, it's still breaking a lot, which is kind of funny to me because, they had months to retheme this ride and they still can't seem to get the ride system to be consistently functioning. And I know all the Disney rides break, like that's just part of what it is to like own and operate a ride. But you would think that they would have done something to maybe keep that ride not breaking quite so often.
100%.
Because yeah, the days we were there too, like the group numbers weren't getting up that high. It was broke for several hours at a time. And I do think that this has to do with why they weren't limiting the virtual queues. Like, for example, if they were like, hey, you get one virtual queue and then that's it, you can't have another one. But then what, right? Then the ride breaks. Then you're in line and it breaks. And you've already scanned your queue. It's like it just becomes so much mayhem if they try to limit it. That for them, they're just like, luck of the draw. May the force be with you. Good luck on that.
Right.
That wasn't the only problem they had. I was surprised that I made a video about it and I'm surprised it wasn't more popular, but I had a friend who did all the right things. She had a Disneyland reservation. It was 7 a.m. It was a day of a virtual queue. It was everything was right. And she went to go and get her 7 a.m. queue and it told her that she had to be inside the park.
Really?
The park didn't open till 8 and there was no physical way to be in the park. And so she couldn't even try for a queue because it gave her an insane like response. Like, oh, you have to 7 a.m. virtual queue. And they must have fixed it because there's only one friend that I ever saw that had that exact message. But it's like, this is another reason why it would have been nice if Disney had just let people pre-schedule these things because the virtual queue system is messy and obviously it doesn't have all the kinks worked out on it yet.
Right. Before we move on to our other topics, overall thoughts of Tiana's, the Bayou Country, the barbecue. You've done it all. You put so much stuff on your page. I texted you about your Christmas thing, which we'll talk about. What your Christmas video was the best video I saw of anyone that did a video for Christmas. I mean, you hit every. I mean, I'm a drummer. I'm like, you showed us the drummer. I'm like, this is badass, and you showed us this Deadpool twice. But we'll get into that. But real quick about Tiana's, what did you think of it? What was your overall thoughts of it compared to the last to Splash Mountain? Let me know what you think.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Tiana, I think they did a good job turning Splash Mountain into Tiana. Splash Mountain in general is never my favorite ride. Water rides are not my favorite rides.
Mm-mm.
They did a good job. Like I said, I think they did a good job with the theming, but I think it's wild that they still can't get the ride consistently working. And I am, I don't know. I like the main area and I like the splashdown where you go to like kind of the old Zippity Doo Dah area. Like I do think they did enough there to like Tiana. I wish there had been a bit more, maybe like original music or something to kind of go with it, add a little bit more. It's good. I don't know necessarily what they could have done better except for maybe a little bit more original music. And also the animatronics are also consistently breaking on the ride as well. Like they've already had to fix the animatronics a couple of times.
That's wild.
So I realize that Disney doesn't have it like, if you're going to wait a year to get the ride back, like have the ride working, have the animatronics working. But overall, I think they did a good job with what they had to work with. They just did kind of like an overlay essentially. They put Splash Mountain. I do think it's really cute that they left a couple little elements, like little hidden details that you can find to Splash Mountain. Like in the line queue, you can see like a little Brer Fox or a little fox and a little rabbit for like Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit. I love that kind of stuff when Disney hides stuff in rides. I mean, it's fine. For me, the ride itself was always like a 5 out of 10. Now it's a 6 out of 10. Like, okay. That's probably as much as you'll see me on that ride in the next couple of years until it calms down a bit or until my kids tell me I have to go on it for a yes day.
That's absolutely fair. And I kind of heard that from most people. It's just kind of it's okay, it's cool. It's missing some elements. It's missing some stuff. It's there's some blank spaces in the ride. I've heard like you're like there's just like spots where there's like nothing. But I mean, it is what it is. It's back. So
Crazy how wet you get on the first drop. It's not even the big drop. It's like I almost think like they've got to find a way. I know you're supposed to get wet on that ride, but
mhm.
like a wave came over the boat. I mean, even Splash Mountain, even on like really hot days, like you would get like wet, but this is like you're getting soaked, like covered head to toe, which is another reason I'm not a fan of water rides. Like
I completely agree.
that might be what some people want to happen, but like they open this ride in November in like the coldest part of the year, and they've got like a wave of water attacking you. So again, like I said, Splash Mountain was always a 5 out of 10. Now it's a 6.
Perfect. Let's move on to why we have you here. You're back. You're going to help us with our show, like being like a reporter, like a person on the ground, because you go everywhere all the time. So I said, Kelly, will you come back on and talk about what's going on at Disneyland and Universal and Knott's and Legoland? And you said absolutely, and we appreciate that. So where would you actually? I want to take. Last time you were on, I didn't play our commercials, so I need to make sure that I put our commercial spots in. So I'm going to take our one quick break. We have 3 commercials we'll put in here throughout the thing. I'm going to play these real quick. We'll come back, and where are we going to talk about first?
Let's talk about Disney. That's the first one I went to.
You got it. Let's go. We'll be right back.
Sunken City Designs brings you art. Do you like art? What about Disney characters like Mickey Mouse and the Oyster Thief? You know, that's actually from Alice in Wonderland, the best princess movie ever made. Also, we have some dwarfs that have their heads ripped off sometimes. Why? I don't know. It's because it's Sunken City Design. So go there, sunkencitydesign.com. Get yourself some great merchandise. You got posters and, I believe, clothes. Who knows? I got a cup from there, and it's fantastic. Do you like cups? Do you ever use those? I do. Go for it. Oh yeah, sweatshirts. Can't forget about those. If you're ever cold, get yourself a sweatshirt from sunkencitydesign.com. Also, Wall-E. You know, that's the best movie ever made. Second only to Alice in Wonderland. All right, if you also like Walt's apartment, they have merch for that too. Where? sunkencitydesign.com. Hopefully you've already loaded up that site and you're looking at it and you have some items in your cart. Go ahead and check out as soon as you can because the show's about to come back on. All right, everybody, we appreciate you.
All right, we do love Sunken City Design. They are the best. Let's dive into what's happening at Disneyland. Like I said before when the first day of Christmas, of course you're there. You're there with your sister and your best friend.
Yeah, and actually my husband was there too. He was doing a lot of the filming because
Okay.
everything done in one day. We kind of were split into like 2 pairs throughout the day. So most of the time
I was wondering how you got all that done. So
we're taking turns. Like we were jolly holiday treat trying while Rob was saving a parade spot. We were watching the new like mariachi band while Rob was watching Mirabelle. We were watching the tree lighting while Rob was grabbing food from Festival of Holidays. Like, yeah, it was definitely a group effort. My best friend Allison and my sister Molly are both also content creators. So you can find Molly over at Mom and with Molly, and Allison is Magic Family Adventures. And so they were there to make content for opening day as well. And so, yeah, it was a lot of like, the car ride there was honestly hilarious. So like we got in the car, we're an hour away. We all met at my house. Allison lives about 20 minutes away from me, my 10 minutes away from me. We all met at my house. Rob drove us there, my incredible husband. And then we were in the car with notepads looking at showtime schedules, being like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And then, okay, so it was kind of actually a really hilarious bummer. So we get in the car and we're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. We're going to start at this park. We're going to see the characters. And we're like, all right, we're going to start at Disneyland. We're going to do, so at 7 a.m. we made a Jolly Holiday,
reservation.
Mobile order, a Jolly
Okay.
Holiday. And immediately it wasn't working. It wouldn't do checkout. Like it was so stressful. We finally get the Jolly Holiday order in. We all get in the car and then we pull out the times guide on the app because we were waiting for the times to upload because it was the first day. Disney had not announced what time any of the shows are happening or anything. And we had read all the blogs. Like, we knew all the shows that were happening. We knew the shows we wanted to see. Like, we're going to see the parade. We're going to go see Santa in the Fantasyland Theater. We're going to see the Toy Drummers, right? And then we get in the car and realize that I had made the park reservations. Well, somehow I had made my husband and my best friend Allison for Disneyland. But I had made my sister and I for California Adventure. And I was like, no, this is awful. Like, we need to go to Disneyland. That's where everything is. And then my sister starts going through the show times and goes, Kelly, did you know that there's a Deadpool show that's Christmas? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? Disney never announced that. They never said anything about it. And she was like, yeah, first one's at 10:30. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. Everybody else is at Disneyland. We're supposed to be at Disneyland. I accidentally made the wrong park reservation. So we get to Disney and we immediately split. Molly and I go and we get over to Deadpool and there's nobody in the Deadpool area. Like, nobody has even realized that there's like a new Deadpool show yet. And everybody else is over at Disneyland where we were supposed to be. So Rob and Allison go over to Disneyland and they start taking character videos and they're going to see all the characters in their costumes. And Molly and I sit front row of Deadpool and we start talking and they're like, yeah, it's great. There's actually 2 shows. They're going to do one and then the other. If you guys want to watch both, we're like, great. So we sit down. And then the Deadpool show starts and he comes out on the unicorn and we're like, this is so cool. And we were first in on that. And, you know, if you're a content creator, you want to be first in on things whenever you can because you want to be able to share that stuff with people. So, yeah, it was incredible. So we saw Deadpool. We waited for both the shows. And then we kind of like, and then we went back to our schedule and we're like, all right, so we watched the Deadpool shows. While we're watching Deadpool, Rob's filming Toy Drummers. Then we're like, all right, it's time to go back to Disneyland. Let's go to Fantasyland Theater. We have to go to Jolly Holiday, try all the treats. So we go and do that. Rob waits for the parades. Then we're like, all right, it's time for holidays. Then we go over to DCA and then we're just checking stuff off the list and we've got time slots and we're like, we're going to hit all these things. And at noon, we're getting a virtual queue for World of Color. And a funny thing actually happened with World of Color that I have never had happen to me ever. So we get a virtual queue for World of Color, and it gives us a 10:15 show, and we're fine with that because we wanted to see fireworks also.
Right.
Great. We'll see the 10:15 show. A couple of hours later, we get a push notification from Disney telling us that they changed our virtual queue to 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, that's weird. I've never seen that before.
That's interesting.
And we still ended up being able to make it for like the tail end of fireworks, so it ended up working out fine. But yeah, so we did it all. We did the fireworks, and then so we were there for 13 hours. We did not ride a single ride until 11 o'clock, 10:30 maybe, and we went and we rode It's a Small World because it was holidays, and that was it. That was the only ride we rode all day. 4 people. We just ran around like crazy, seeing all the shows, watching everything new, seeing the characters.
That's amazing. So, again, your channel, Adventure Isle on YouTube. What? Did I lose you?
I don't think so.
There you are. Okay. So Adventure Isle on YouTube. Like I said, it was so in depth. Both Deadpool shows to kick off the video, which is great. Deadpool is my favorite character.
Yeah.
So this was great. I'm like, this is amazing. And highlight of Christmas. What you guys you go all the time. So what's the highlight of Christmas at Disneyland that you guys saw this year?
So for me, it was Deadpool. Like, and we kicked it off with that. It was brand new. You know, it's very hard to catch Deadpool on his unicorn, and that's like a very big part of the day. And so actually seeing Deadpool just like immediately come out, like kind of set the tone for the day, and that was great. I also thought the food at Jolly Holiday was really good. And I thought that
y'all went to town on that food. Y'all went to town on that, and all the reactions. And no. And then you're like, this is just. I'm trying to think of what one thing you guys had. I don't think it was that Jolly Holiday, but you guys did like the chicken tenders, and you're like, this is gross. And like I saw like 3 other people do the same video. Like I think David and Liz did it, and they're like, are these like dino nuggets? And like they were just like.
Call them dino nuggets.
Yeah. Okay. It was you guys. I'm sorry. And then no, they called them like Popeye's chicken or something like that. They were saying this is like little chicken.
Dino nuggets. We are like, one thing I've said it before on here and always on my channel is that regardless of who I'm working with, like I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about stuff. And Festival of Holidays foods this year just weren't that good.
Yeah.
So my like low point for Disney is that the Festival of Holiday Foods just weren't it this year. Like there wasn't a lot of new stuff. The new stuff wasn't good. Mac and cheese is pretty much always standard good at Festival of Holidays, and it was. But everything else, I don't know. Disney's got to get a better way of doing Festival of Holiday Foods, because the stuff that they're serving in that booth, I mean, we're getting it cold, we're getting it hard. We actually got part out of the video because it was too harsh, but we got the croissant like turkey sandwich, and it was rock hard on the bottom. Like it literally like cracked in half. Like we had to take it for a new one. And they were like, we're really sorry because we keep it under heat lamps. If we don't like serve it fast enough, that can happen. And they replaced it, and that was great. But I mean, it was bad.
In your video, you guys, you sent them back in the video, right? I believe you sent your sister back or your friend back to actually go get. You said we're gonna actually go change this, and
okay, I couldn't remember if we cut it out or not.
No, it was in there.
Video, but yeah, overall, Jolly Holiday Foods was really good.
It looked really good.
Festival of Holiday Foods were not. Like there wasn't much that I would go back for. And so that was kind of a bummer because, it's expensive to do the Festival of Holiday Foods. Like even with paying over $60 to try 8 portions of things that are about this big. And, meanwhile, you could go just get a good meal in Disney for $15 or $20, get a full-size portion. And the 3 of us could have just gotten regular full-size meals that would have filled us up better and tasted better than doing Festival of Holidays. But we like to do it every year because sometimes there are really incredible things. This year, I just didn't think there was anything incredible. So that was my low. Deadpool was definitely my high. And I also thought that the new Mirabelle Gifts of the Season show was really cute. But I do not love that they cut Viva Navidad during the week to make room for that. Because Viva Navidad, I was actually telling Rob this when we were driving down the freeway to Disneyland. There was a big banner, or what's it called? Like a big giant sign on the side of the freeway. Billboard that said Viva Navidad, November 15th through January 5th. And I said they should change that because the Viva Navidad show is only on Saturdays and Sundays. So my kids will never see it because they don't have passes that go on the weekends during the holidays. Walked out. So they brought in this Mirabelle show. It's cute. I like it. I think they did a good job with the show. I don't think it's as good as Viva Navidad. And I think it was a mistake to move Viva Navidad to just weekends. And a lot of people are disappointed in that, not just me.
Okay. Fireworks show kind of just the same as it's always. So they don't really change a lot every year, do they? So you have fireworks, you have the parade. The parade looks like the same parade. Whoever had the angle for the parade on your video was great. I mean, everything coming right by you guys, it was amazing. I'm assuming that was Rob now because you said he'd set up for that. So thank you, Rob.
Most of the YouTube filming stuff you're going to see in long form is Rob.
Okay.
We actually have 2 Pro DJI. We use the DJI Pocket Pro cameras, and we have 2 of those. So he'll use one and I'll use one if we're like in opposite areas. But most of the time, if we're both together, he's filming on the Pocket Pro camera. And yeah, he had a great angle, and he's really good at panning and watching, and he's good at everything.
Is that the one that pivots on the? It's like a little, and it just pivots. It's like a little tiny square, right?
It's about this, and then you can hit a button. You hit it through. There's like a little circle dial button, and you can hit it 3 times, and it will turn towards you, which is great. So like if you're walking, you can hold it and be talking and stuff to it, which we use a lot. Or if you're filming, so you're always using the front camera. There's no back camera, but you can see the screen towards you or away from you. It's a really great camera. And so we have 2 of those. And so Rob was the one who filmed the parade. We actually also filmed the parade last night. And one thing that was really awesome at the parade last night, and I'm going to share about it a little bit later, is that last night on the parade route, Santa Claus was using sign language.
Really?
So, Santa Claus last night was, when he got to our spot of the parade, like doing both sign language and signing everything he was speaking to the crowds.
That's cool.
And that was a big hit. Yeah. So, so that is the problem with Disney. I find that to be a problem with Disney for Halloween and for Christmas, that they do not bring in a lot of new stuff. They just rely on kind of the old favorites that everybody loves. But the parade is still good. The fireworks are still good. Season of Light is still very good. That's actually my favorite. Is the World of Color holiday version is my favorite thing to do at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney, I will say they did bring in several new shows this year. They brought in a new mariachi band show with Miguel from Coco. They brought in a new Mirabelle Gifts of the Season show. So I said I don't love that takes the place of Viva Navidad. They have the new Deadpool holiday edition. So there was actually a lot of new stuff at DCA. There wasn't a lot of new stuff over at Disneyland, except they do have performers in the holiday area and Fantasyland Theater. They have performers up there who are singing Christmas carols with the
Oh, nice.
and it will actually snow in that area during the daytime. So
That's cool.
that's new.
Do you think Deadpool sticks around, or do you think he's finally gonna? Do you think? I hope they never get rid of him, but
I hope they don't also, but like it was pretty funny during the show how hard he pushed that like this was Disney Plus and Disney
Right.
Plus was be here and like it was a plug for Disney Plus. I do think he's going to be temporary because I
that's
think
too
that
bad.
Avengers Campus is pretty temporary and eventually Disney has to do something with that space. Like Hyperion Theater needs to either become part of Avengers Campus or get a show in it. Like it's a massive waste of space. So I do not think he's going to be long term. I think
That's too
he'll
bad.
around for a while. My guess is maybe until like next summer, and then I think they're going to do something with that space.
Yeah. I just like that he's even like rolling around the park on his unicorn, like him comes out and Wolverine's chased him around. And I mean, the success of the movie obviously helps with that as well, but still it's, what else for Christmas at this? So favorite food, let's talk about that. So you guys were just going to town on the Jolly Holiday food. So let's talk about the food, your favorites, your not so favorites. What was the thing you guys loved? Like was it like a log cake or something there? Y'all were just all about that.
It was a like a espresso like coffee cake, but it was really soft. Like we expected it to be kind of like denser, like a coffee cake's kind of usually hard. So we did really like that. It had like an espresso like coffee filling. And if you can't tell from my like incredibly fast moving personality, like coffee is a big part of my life. So yeah, we really like the coffee cake. We also really liked, the Mickey gingerbread men. They do those every year. They're always popular and they were good. And then over at DCA, there was a macaron that was Mickey shaped also. That's like a sticky toffee pudding macaron. And we thought that one was really good also. The only thing is I thought it tasted good, but I thought the cuteness factor kind of gave it a little extra bump. So I like the treats more than the savory foods just because I think they're, fun and cute and playful to look at. So.
And a big fan of the chicken bowl, right? That was your favorite.
That thing was so gross. Like I could not tell you enough how gross that thing was. It literally was like a frozen meal. Like it was like a Stouffer's frozen meal, and it was like half the size of a Stouffer's. I mean, that thing was literally like the size of the bottom of my cup. Like it was small, and I think the video we had a hard time showing how small it was, and it tasted bad. Okay, but my favorite foods actually, because we haven't. So that was opening day of Disney.
Okay.
But yesterday we did the very first day that they have ever done the holiday tea at the Grand Californian. I actually just posted a video. It just went live right before we started recording. And it is of me taking my daughter to the holiday tea with Santa and Mrs. Claus at Hearthstone Lounge at Grand Californian. And that was incredible. It was expensive, of course, because it's like a exclusive event, but it was incredible. The food was good. They had a tea-infused cocktail that was like an Earl Grey martini. Absolutely amazing. All the food was so good and adorable. Like the little kids' plate came with like a green peanut butter and jelly sandwich that was like Christmas tree shaped. There was like a gingerbread ham and cheese sandwich. I mean, it was so cute, so worth the money and delicious. So like if you're gonna save your $60 on your Sip and Savor Pass, and instead, if you can get in, spend $80 to go to the tea, which also comes with like, tea and, water and service and all that.
So it's $80 and is all the food included, or do you have to buy the food separately or?
So, okay. So there's actually 3 price ranges. So a kid's only $44. And funny enough, come with almost everything the adult comes with. They just have, so the kids get 3 kids sandwiches. They also get scones, and then they also get 4 desserts. So the kids are like 10 different little mini food options to try. And then they also get tea. And if they don't like their tea, they can get more tea and stuff. And so the kids are $44. Then for the adults, there's technically 3 packages, but one of them's crazy. There's one that's $450, but it's for 2 people. So it's like $250 a person, but it comes with a bottle of champagne. Don't do that one. It's a waste of money. Then there's one That's $84. So that's the classic package. That's the one I would recommend you get. So for the classic package, you get scones, you get tea, you get 4 desserts, and you get 4 tea sandwiches. And then you also get a private meet and greet with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So they actually get you up from your table and they take you over to their area and you meet with them and you interact with them. They take professional photos and you get to download those for free. And then they also, in the middle of your meal, they'll come around to your table and they pass out jingle bells and you sing Christmas carols with Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus like throughout.
That's so cool.
So it's very cool. And then the other package is $40 more. So it's $84 for classic or $124 for deluxe. And the only difference is you get 1 cocktail or glass of champagne and you get some strawberries and whipped cream, basically. It's not worth it to pay the extra $40.
No.
I paid the extra $40 to see what it was. The cocktail was really good, but the cocktail only cost $20. So I basically paid $20 for strawberries. And so I would not do that again. I would just get the classic package. It's $84. And the kids package is $44. And it was like a 2-hour-long experience. We could try multiple teas. We had great service. And then, you got to meet Santa and Mrs. Claus both personally. And then they would come around also and interact at the tables. And then they also sang Christmas carols. So it was like a very cool.
How long was it?
I mean, it's basically as long as you'd like to make it. I think you could be in and out of there in about an hour. It's not like scheduled stuff. Like it's kind of whatever pace you're going at. We went at a very slow pace because we were filming it, because my daughter was enjoying it. Oh, and one other very cool thing that they do with the tea. They give you these beautiful menus, and inside there's like a letter from Mrs. Claus and all that. Nice. And then they have you take those menus to Santa and Mrs. Claus, and they sign your menus, and then you get to keep them as keepsakes. So I've never been to a Disney experience where they have them do that. I thought that was very cool. I think Disney should do that at all of it. I think it's storytellers. Mickey and Minnie should sign your menu, and you should get it as a keepsake.
100%.
Like that's cool addition to the experience.
That's awesome. That sounds really cool. I've never. So that's a new event this year, right? That's not something I've ever done before.
This is yesterday was the first day they've ever done.
Nice.
So we were there yesterday, first day, first reservation. It was hard to get those reservations. I had a lot of me try to get those reservations. But yeah, it was cute. It was my mom, my sister, my daughter, and I went. And so we went and we tried all 3 of the not insane packages, just to kind of see what you get in the difference. And basically everybody gets the same foods. The only real difference is the kids get a little bit more kid-friendly sandwiches. Everybody gets the same desserts. And then there's a whole huge list of teas that you can try.
Love it. So, okay. So overall, Disneyland, Christmas time this year, scale of 1 to 10. We'll call it the Kelly scale. 1 to 10. What do you give Disneyland Resort?
Oh, I'm always going to give Disney a high rating because it's magical there at Christmas time. And they have even though the offerings are similar to previous years, they have a lot to offer. So I'm still going to give Disney a 9.
Nice.
I wish they had a little bit more new stuff at Disneyland. And I wish maybe they'd change up the fireworks one of these years, but overall, and I wish the food was better at Festival of Holidays. That's why it's getting in. It would fix
perfect.
those.
So we will wrap up Disneyland because we have 3 more parks to get to. Let's hear from Where in the Park really quick. We'll come back, knock out the other parks, and then we'll hear from Getaway Today, and we'll wrap it up. You good still?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Hey fam, what scavenger hunt are you doing?
Well, we are doing Where in the Park.
Do you guys know Where in the Park? Because we do.
We do.
So how you play this is that they give you a deck of cards with an image on it, and you get to look around and see where in the park that is.
And they're fun. So if you like to find stuff, this is what you need to do.
The amazing game. We're in the park right here.
If you're a seasoned Disney park goers as we are, it's a fun, challenging even for the hardcore Disney parks fan.
We have played the Where in the Park games that we felt like, we got
still a challenge.
Oh no. Yeah. Still a challenge, a fun challenge though, not an impossible challenge.
They get really close to details and you're like, I have never even seen that. I don't even know.
Where in the park have I seen that?
The great thing about these is that they're not in attractions and they're out in the open places. It's meant for families to play.
Besides people who've been there a lot, it's fun for people that are new to the parks as well, because you catch some of those details that you would probably miss when you're first going.
So there's images that you are finding on one side of the card, and then the other has the hint in the answer that you can reveal if you choose to.
Before it was just the hint and the answer, but now if you really want the land,
it'll tell you
they'll
where.
give you the land for an extra hint. You guys can take as long as you wish without the hint.
Yeah.
Without the hint, it's hard.
But that's what makes it fun.
But they do not just do Disney parks, obviously. What other parks do you guys actually cover?
Universal and all that good stuff.
East Coast, West Coast, and they're continuing to expand even more after that.
Check them out, we'reinthepark.com if you need to get some game packs. They are so much fun.
We appreciate We're in the Park.
You know, they're awesome.
We love
Kevin and
that.
Amanda.
Get you some We're in the Park today.
Hell yeah.
Use promo code Walt's APT Podcast to save 10% at we'reinthepark.com.
All right. We're in the park. Have you ever seen their game packs?
No, I was just looking at those and was like, that was cool. I would be really good at that. And I would totally try.
You would probably crush it. They are actually, go ahead. What's that?
I said, oh, I would crush that. Yes.
They actually, Amanda and Kevin, who own that company, they host our Imagine That podcast that we have, which is all about Imagineering. So they're cool. I have some of their packs. I'll get you some of their packs. They're really cool and they're so much fun. But
yeah, I'll check them out.
yeah, because they have everything everywhere you go. So where do you want to go next?
Let's do it in order. So after I went to Disney, then I went to Knott's.
Okay, let's go to Knott's.
Merry Farm. I have a lot of nostalgic ties to Merry Farm. So when I was growing up, I did not go to Disneyland. I think I've probably talked about this before, but when I was growing up, my parents always took us to Knott's Berry Farm. We went once a year. It was always at Halloween time for Merry Farm because my mom was a police dispatcher, and so she could get us in for free at that time of the year because they did police and fire days. So we always went to Knott's Merry Farm. So for me, like that's where nostalgia of Christmas is for me, is at Merry Farm. And I think that they did another like really good year. One thing we got to do this year that we haven't done before is that they actually have a hotel package that you can get that's really great. So you can pay to stay in their hotel, and as part of that package, they give you tickets into the park, and they give you breakfast in their new 30 Acres Kitchen restaurant as part of the package, and then you get to park your car at the Knott's Hotel. So it's like you're parked right next to Knott's, and you get to have breakfast there, and the hotel is super convenient because it's like right next door. So we did the hotel package this year for Knott's. They gave it to me since I'm an ambassador. They had given me a night stay there, and then I made it. So, but the hotel was like beautifully decorated. I mean, it was definitely up there with Disney in terms of like just gorgeous Christmas decorations. As soon as you go in, there was a big Christmas tree. There was wreaths. There was lights. Like everything was gorgeous. The restaurant was decorated. So I was very impressed with that. And then I love meeting Santa over at Knott's because he's got this beautiful like Christmas barn that you go into, and it smells like cookies in there, and you can get cocktails and drinks in there while you're meeting Santa. And the line is nothing like the line to meet Santa at Disney. So that's always a bonus. And then the best thing that they have to offer there, well, two things really that I would say kind of put them above and beyond like Disney a little bit, is that one, they have the Snoopy on Ice show, which is called Snoopy's Night Before Christmas. And that show is incredible. Professional ice skating. Snoopy comes out. It's got a lot of just really kind of magical moments that happen during that show. And it's a big, big show. I mean, yes, Disney has World of Ice and World of Color and the fireworks, but Snoopy on Ice is like this thing you just can't miss when you go to Knott's, and they do a good job with it every year, and they do change it up a little bit every year. They just change up like the musical numbers and the performances and stuff like that. And the other thing I'll give Knott's a lot of credit for is they do snow and glow in Ghost Town several times throughout the night, and it will snow and all the lights will change on the buildings and stuff. That's cool. And then their tree lighting includes characters. So they do a whole actual tree lighting performance. And that's something I think that Disney should. I guess the problem is that Disney doesn't really have a good way of doing it. Like, you know, they don't have a good space to kind of corral. But Knott's and Legoland and Universal, they all have, like, they make a big deal out of lighting the tree, and they light the tree several times a night. And Knott's does only light it once, actually, but they do a thing of lighting the tree, and the characters come out and there's performances. And I think that Knott's does a better job at that than Disney does with the tree lighting, because Disney's is just like a minute of music on Main Street and then it lights up. It's not a whole. So I like that.
So Knott's characters, I have not been to Knott's Berry Farm since I was a kid, to be honest. So are there characters like the Peanuts gang? Is that their characters, or are there more characters that they have at Knott's Berry Farm?
So there's more. The Peanuts gang is the main set.
Right.
Like set is, Charlie Brown and Linus. Like that's the main set of characters. But there are others. So there are also Berry Tales characters. So they released a new ride a couple years ago called Knott's Berry Tales, spelled BEAR, and it's a bunch of like bear characters, so you can meet them as well. And then there's also Whittles, who is kind of like the original character from Knott's Berry Farm. He's like a miner and like coal miner kind of thing. So he is a character too, and he also has like a Christmas outfit or whatever. And then there's also like a whole show called Home for the Holidays, where they bring out a bunch of classic characters. So you'll see like Santa and elves and things like that on this big stage show that they do at night on a stage that's kind of over by like their train station area.
Okay.
So you have characters walking out, and then Ghost Town is filled with characters you can interact with. So in Ghost Town, you can meet like sheriffs, and you can meet people who work at the jail, and you can meet people who are like part of like the whole Calico Ghost Town area. And they're during like summer nights, they'll do whole activities with like the Ghost Town characters. So there are people to like interact with and mingle with at Knott's.
That's kind of cool. I don't know what to dive into at Knott's. So is there more you want to talk about at Knott's, or?
I think the big things, in terms of time, because we do have 2 other parks also, but I think the big things to know at Knott's is that you shouldn't miss Snoopy on Ice. You should definitely in his barn. Knott's has a very cool like cookie decorating kit. So you can pay, I think it's like $10, and they give you a box with 3 cookies in it and frosting, and you can like sit with your kids and have them decorate cookies. I think that's very cool. Their tree lighting ceremony is cool. Their snow and glow stuff is cool at night. And the park itself is also beautifully decorated. Like, they did a lot of work around the park. There's wreaths, there's Christmas lights. It's very pretty at night. And then, there's 2 big shows. So there's the Snoopy on Ice show and the Home for the Holiday show. So I would recommend seeing.
Perfect. We do have 2 more parks. I can go forever, but I know you're very busy. So can we fit 2 parks into 15 minutes?
Oh, I sure can.
Okay. Well, actually, it's going to be like 12 minutes. So I got to play the Getaway Today commercial. Then we'll come back and we'll knock those 2 out. So we'll hear from Getaway Today. We'll come back and we'll wrap up with Universal and Legoland.
Yes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Get to Know Our sponsor. Getaway Today has been helping Disney vacation dreams come true since 1990. Whether you choose to visit the happiest place on earth or travel to Orlando for the most epic adventure, they want to help. Need to know the best hotel in the area? What theme park ticket should you use? Have a last-minute change? No worries. Their travel experts are always here to help. Want to book a cruise and don't know where to start? Hey, they can help with that too. They will help you find the perfect cruise for your vacation, whether it's your first time or you're a well-seasoned cruiser. When you book your cruise with one of Getaway Today's experts, you will have a dedicated agent to help every step of the way and take care of all the details so you can just focus on the fun. Getaway Today offers peace of mind travel, allowing you to cancel or make changes up to 72 hours in advance. You will always have the most up-to-date vacation information both pre-arrival and upon welcome. Getaway Today will guarantee the best prices with no hidden fees, and every time you book with Getaway Today, they will donate a portion back to a charitable organization in your area. And so far, over $4.5 million has been donated. So just click the link in our show notes to start your Disney, Universal, or cruise vacation planning for more information and the best deal. Or you can dial 855-GETAWAY and be sure to tell them Walt's Apartment sent you. And until next time, we hope you enjoy the view from Walt's Apartment.
I say, can you fit 2 parks in? You're like, of course I can. So Getaway Today is awesome. We love them. Let's dive into the last 2 parks. Tell us about.
Let's do Universal, because I went to them third. And
Okay.
I just want to say that Universal does not get enough credit for everything they do in the park during the holiday season. Because
Okay.
everybody is on Grinchmas, and Grinchmas is great. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Grinchmas. And I kind of mentioned it earlier in the show, but one thing I want to talk about, I kind of beat Universal to the punch a little bit on something that they should really be like leaning into. They have a brand new character in Whoville, and her name is the way that they said it and the way I would say it is different, but her name is Calliope Calhoun. I would pronounce that name Calliope, but that's how the
Right.
character. So I'm saying it the way she said it was Calliope Calhoun. And she is a fully deaf character in Whoville who only speaks in signs. So she only speaks sign language, and then she does also have a device, like a communicating device. And then she was walking around when we were there with another character from Whoville who was also signing and like communicating to the guests and children that this character only speaks in sign.
That's
And
so cool.
that is incredible that Universal is doing that. So, you know, 1,000,000 gold stars to Universal for being inclusive and having a character who's deaf. My mom and sister, and my sister's best friend Rachel, all speak sign language. And so I grew up all around sign language. And I remember seeing children who were deaf when I was younger and like how incredible it'd be for my mom, who was just a random stranger. I remember being in Radio Shack one time and there was a little girl who was signing to her mom. And so my mom went up and just started signing to her. And like the way that this child's like face lit up with having somebody else be able to communicate with her, just a total stranger, was like really magical. So honestly, I think that this is one of the coolest things I've seen in years, is to bring in a character who's deaf and have people interact with her. And she was teaching the kids sign language. She taught my kids how to say like Cindy Lou and how to say dog and the Grinch. And yesterday when we went to Disney, my daughter was actually going up to Doug, the dog from Up, and saying like, this is how you say dog. And it's like you hit your leg and then you snap. And like she retained that information and it was very cool. And Grinchmas itself, absolutely just an incredible setup. The only real problem with it is that it is in a very small space. So
Right.
Get full very fast. It can hit capacity. There might be a time where you go where they tell you have to come back or whatnot. But absolutely, I love the way that Grinchmas is set up. And the characters, and they have a beautiful tree lighting ceremony, and they have the Cindy Lou Who Storytime show, and they have, you know, the doo-wop, hoopy doo-wop, like singing dancing group. And then but just hanging out in Whoville, like just walking around and talking to the characters from Whoville, like it's funny. Like they'll make jokes, they'll talk to you, like they'll interact with you. You know, my kids like to dress up. My daughter usually goes dressed as Cindy Lou, and this year my son acts in the Grinch, and like it's amazing. I think they do incredible with Grinchmas. But then people don't realize there's also like Hogsmeade. The whole park is absolutely gorgeous, like decorated, and then Hogsmeade is crazy decorated, and it's got all these cool details, like in the candy shop in Honeydukes, they have candy hanging in like the garland, and in the owl post where you would like write letters that owls would take, they have feathers hanging in the garland, and in the clothing shop they have the house colors like all in. So they really intertwine like a lot of Harry Potter details into that decor. And then there's a whole nighttime show that includes fireworks and projections and all this happening over in the Wizarding World. It gets a little bit overshadowed by Grinchmas. And then I haven't gone yet because I went to Grinchmas, but it was just a Grinchmas specific preview. But tonight we're going to go check out Super Nintendo World, and they have some holiday specific stuff happening down there as well. So like Universal really does have a lot more than people realize going on around holiday season. That's not just Grinchmas.
That's crazy because I haven't been there for years either. I'm gonna go back to the sign language thing really quick. My younger daughter, Mackenzie, actually works for Universal Studios in their HR department now, and but she did the Disney World college program, and she's fluent in sign language, and she would actually do sign language during like the parades and stuff, like when they do the fireworks, she would do it. They had her out there. That was part of her gig. Yes, yeah. She was on Great Movie Ride. That was her job. She was one of the people that talked on there, and then she would do that at night. She'd do parade control, but they used her sign language to tell people. And like, so that is very cool that because sign language is something that is universal, obviously, but it's just very cool that you said like how they embrace that and put that out there. That's very cool to me.
Yes. And the first year I confirmed with, funny enough, you know, when you make a video and it goes relatively viral, people will tag other people in the comments, and somebody actually tagged her in the comment section, like the person who is the deaf person from Whoville. And they tagged her in the comment section, and I went and looked at her page, and she is on there talking about how this is her first year on the snowflake, which is what they call Whoville. They call it visiting the snowflake. So it's her first year being in Whoville, the first year that they've had this character. So you know, that's a very big deal. And I think it's awesome that they're doing that. So
is the person that plays the character deaf, or is it just she?
She's not playing a character. She is an actually deaf woman who is just a character in Whoville this year.
Got it. That's awesome.
Deaf, and then she also has the communication device that's with her as well.
Good on Universal. So I forgot to ask you back to knots really quick. 1 to 10 on the Kelly scale. 1 to 10.
I'm gonna give knots an 8. And I think they're incredible. I think they do a great job, but I wish they would do a little bit more new stuff.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
I wish they would
And
do a
then
little.
and Universal, is there more to discuss?
No, but Universal gets a 10.
A
I gotta
10?
Well, okay, they get a bonus point for bringing in inclusivity. And
Yeah.
also, I think that there's so much to do there, and it's not as stressful as Disney. Like, it's colorful, it's pretty, they do a great job with it, it's really interactive. For me, Universal is a 10. Like, Universal is the one I will visit the most. I will probably go there once a week, all the way through Grinchmas. And my kids love it. And there's a dog
Yeah.
you could, so, you get to meet Max the dog. So, like, bonus point for that as well.
Well, Universal's close to you, so that's nice. So that's closer.
Yes, Universal is the closest park. We're actually going there tonight because they're having a pass holder preview, it's called a pass holder takeover because they already started, so it's not a preview. The problem with the pass holder takeovers is I've gone to them before, and that generally they feel busier than just a regular day. Because we go during the our kids get out of school early on Wednesdays. We usually go to Universal on Wednesdays. So the whole pass holder takeover thing, like, I personally think it's going to be busier tonight than it will be if I just went like tomorrow during the day, but I'm going to go check it out and see what it's about.
So much fun. Okay, so Legoland. You went to Legoland. You said make sure we mention Legoland, Sean, so because you went there too.
Because we went there, and it was the first time that I've been there for the holiday season. So my kids only really got into Legoland about 2 years ago. And then I will, be totally open with the fact that I am working with them now as well. So I work with Knott's. I've worked with Universal. I also do work with Legoland. So I do work with these places. It doesn't jar my opinion on them, I don't think, because I'm pretty open about how I feel. And I was open with them about that from the beginning. Like, I'll work with you, but I'm going to be very honest about what I think about these places. I was really impressed by Legoland. They have a ton. I mean, it was hard. We were there for a full day, and it was hard to see all the holiday entertainment that they had. And part of that might be because I've never been there for Christmas before, that I wasn't 100% aware of all the stuff that they can do and all of that. But some things that Legoland does that kind of brings a little bit of extra magic. There are about 10 different holiday shows. You can see some holiday toy drummers. You can see there's like an ugly Christmas sweater show with a Lego character. There's a kind of like a Jingle Bell character big show that happens on the main stage. There's an a cappella group called the Mistletones. There are characters walking all over the place. There is a show about like a winter wonderland that happens in the castle area. So, Legoland gets a lot of bonus points for entertainment. There was entertainment all over that park for the holiday season. And then they also do a great thing, and they did this at Halloween too, and I absolutely love that they do this. So they have Lego build areas, and my kids are obsessed with Legos. I think all kids, my kids' ages really are. And so what they'll do is they'll lay out a bunch of Legos in like a certain color or style, and they'll give the kids like a creative instruction. So for right now, because it's the holiday season, it's a snowflake build. So what they'll do is they'll be like, hey, build your snowflake. And then there's like a chair you can sit in to like take a picture with your snowflake build. And, for Halloween, they did like a pumpkin build. And so they have these, and they had like a spider build. So it's cool that they have the kids like use their imagination using these like creative build areas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really awesome. We're going back to Legoland on Friday to do their official tree lighting ceremony. So they only do their tree lighting ceremonies on like 3 or 4 days total. They have a big ceremony for the tree lighting. So we're going to go check that out at a media event on Friday. But I do think that, and Legoland also had a lot of cool like holiday treats and stuff too. So they had like a holiday sundae that was like green whipped cream in the middle that looked like a Christmas tree. And then there was like 2 kinds of ice cream and like churros with like strawberry sauce on it. And it was really good. I was impressed by that food at Legoland. And all over, like I would honestly say like every 20 feet was a Lego character built out of Legos that was holiday themed. So it's like, here's an elf, and here's a Lego Santa, and here's a Lego snowman, and here's a Lego gingerbread, here's a Lego wreath. And, they really, like, it's cool to just walk around and see all these incredible things built out of Lego.
That, I did not realize Legoland was that cool. I thought it was like this little small place, but that sounds great.
It actually, so it's not as small as people think. I mean, there's quite a few rides. They've got a couple of coasters. They've got Technic Coaster and Dragon Coaster. They just redid Dino Land USA. And as part of that, there's this little boat ride. Like 4 people fit in the boat. It's a very small boat. But like as you go through, they'll actually give you like little tasks, which is kind of what my kids are into. So like you'll get on the ride and they'll be like, oh, you need to look for like the spiny dinosaur. And so it like gives the kids like an action to do while they're on the ride, which I think is very cool. And yeah, there's in maybe every land. So there's several lands. There's like a Ninjago themed land, which has almost like a Spider-Man ride. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
you kind of like punch and fight in the ride, and it goes on these screens. There's a Ninjago land, and there's 5 playgrounds at Legoland. So like even if the park is like super busy, there's all these massive, very big playgrounds that the kids can run around in, and my kids love that. So there's playgrounds and there's build areas everywhere. So like in almost every land, there's like build areas, and sometimes they are specific, and it's like, oh, build the snowflake, build the pumpkin, build the spider. Sometimes it's just a bunch of Legos, and you just build whatever you want. And then when you're done with it, what's really cute is all these areas of building have a display area. So you take it and you can put yours up on the wall, like you built it, and then it's up there and it's cute. And I think, yeah, Legoland doesn't get enough credit for how cute it is as a theme park, especially with younger kids. There's a lot of stuff that they can do, and a lot of stuff that your kids can do if waiting in lines isn't their jam. Like,
Sure.
Lego builds, there's shows, like there's a lot of things they can do besides just wait in line for the rides.
Well, dang, I'm sold on Legoland. So, okay, Legoland 1 to 10 holiday season.
Oh, I'm gonna give them a 9. They're just slightly under Universal for me. That character in Whoville is like really selling Universal for me this year, but I still think they're definitely worth a visit. And I think especially if you're into Legos, you want to build stuff, you want to see something you haven't seen before. I think Legoland is definitely worth a visit. I would have to double check because I'm not as much of an expert on Legoland as I am on like the other theme parks, but I don't think that Legoland does all of their entertainment like during the week and stuff. I think they focus a lot of that stuff just on like weekend dates.
Mm-hmm.
So the decorations will be there in the Lego builds, but I think if you want to see like all of the Christmas shows and stuff, I think you have to do that on Saturdays and Sundays.
How's the crowds there compared to, are they?
It's so chill at Legoland.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, the lines can get long. I've seen lines, between 30 minutes to an hour for something. But like I've never been in a Lego area where there wasn't a table for my kids to build. Oh, and there's one really cool area that they opened last year called Race and Build, where you actually build your own race car, and they have these hills all over that you can like race your car.
Oh, right on.
There's a boat area to do that too, where you can build a Lego boat and put it down like a water slide, essentially.
Dang,
Yeah.
this place sounds great.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
think
sold.
cool it is.
I'm sold on Legoland. Okay, so we went through 4 theme parks in an hour, talked about Big Tiana's. Last question for you. Have you seen Moana 2?
No.
Okay, we won't talk about that then. I was gonna get your opinion. You were out of town for the weekend, right?
Yeah, we were out of town. We were actually, we also do off-roading, as if I'm not busy enough.
Right.
My kids ride like little quads, motorcycles. We have Jeeps and stuff. I do that with my family, my parents, my brother, and my sister. So 4 families. My parents, my sister's family, my brother's family, and our family. We all do off-roading, and we usually do that for like Thanksgiving, New Year's, and then a couple of times in the winter months. We also do snowboarding. So like we are a very active family.
I couldn't tell it all. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to come on here and just download your Christmas adventures with us. I appreciate it. Tell our listeners where we can find your stuff, where we can find your sisters and your best friend's stuff. And if you text me their stuff, I'll put their links in our show notes as well for people to follow them as well.
All right, perfect. So you can find me on YouTube at Adventure Isle, ISLE is how you spell Isle. On TikTok, I am Theme Park Mom. On Instagram, I am Theme Park Mom Life. So a little bit more lifestyle stuff on Instagram. And then my sister is Mommin, Mommin with Molly. And so she does a lot more like mom toddler content. And my best friend Allison is honestly, weirdly, basically a carbon copy of me. She does all the same kind of theme parks, a lot of the same events. We do a lot of our content together, and her name is Allison, and her page is Magic Family Adventures.
Love it. Like I said, send me all that stuff. If I don't talk to you or see you before, I hope you and the family have an awesome Christmas and an awesome New Year. I appreciate you and your friendship and everything you've done for us, and I thank you.
Yes, have a great holiday season. I hope you guys get to do lots of fun theme park stuff.
All righty, thanks, Kel. We'll see you next time. Until next time, we hope you enjoy the view from Walt's apartment. Have a good day, everyone.
will come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.